Have you been thinking about getting into Airbnb but don't know where to start? I've got great news for you. I'm going to give you 5 ways to do that today here on the Fearless Flipping Podcast. If you want financial freedom, time freedom, and want to leave a legacy for generations to come, you probably have heard real estate investing is the place to do that. How do you get started? What do you have to do? When's the right time? If you are looking for those answers, you've come to the right place. My name's Kyle Stanley, and this is Fearless Flipping. My mission is to help you learn this business and conquer real estate investing. Hey guys, welcome into the Fearless Flipping Podcast. You're here with me, Kyle Stanley, and I'm excited for you today because so many people are always asking me, what's the first step of getting into Airbnb? How can I get started? Where should I start? What should I do? So many questions. And then a lot of people start hearing about this opportunity to get into Airbnb with no money or very little money. And it's like this mind-blowing moment. I was just on the phone with one of my friends, Mark, who was telling me, he heard me talking about that and it was like, boom, it just clicked. Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit today, but before we get really deep into this, I need to ask you a favor. If you are watching on the YouTube channel, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. But for those of you that are listening on the podcast, I need you to press pause right now. Do me a big favor. We need more reviews and more ratings. Please press pause right now. Go straight down to the bottom of the Fearless Flipping podcast page. Click that 5-star and then click a review. I need something written there. If you can do that, that would help us out so much in our mission to continue to get out to more people and doing real estate investing the right way and Airbnb the right way. That would be a huge help. Now, for those of you that have not done this so far, you definitely need to go to this link, which I'm pointing to on the YouTube channel, which is fearlessflipping.com/Airbnb host. And if you have not gone there, you are missing out big time because I've got so many tips and tricks and things that will help you in your Airbnb business, whether you've gotten started or not, including our Airbnb Calculator. It's a profit calculator that literally, if you just type in the numbers, you can predict what you are going to make. I just got off the phone with someone, I just got an email from someone who's been doing Airbnb for a couple of years now and is just about to get another 8 units in one area. And he's using the calculator, even though he knows how to evaluate his numbers. This is good for anyone who's new or anyone who's already been in Airbnb for a while and just needs more of a concrete idea of what is possible to be made. All right, now, all that being said, let's jump into this show. I've got your 5 ways of getting started with Airbnb, and I'm going to list these from the highest profit margins, the highest risk, and the highest for your initial investment, all the way down to the lowest. So starting from the very beginning, our number 1 way, which is very simple, very no-brainer, go buy a house. Okay, you can go buy a house, whether it's conventional through creative ways of real estate investing, however that looks for you. Go buy a house, furnish it, and get your Airbnb business started. Now, let's just take a couple numbers, for example, because everyone's always like, well, what kind of, down payment do I have to do? And what kind of furnishing do I have to pay for? Now, this is the most expensive way. And I'm just going to use this as a example here in the Fresno area. I bought 2 homes conventionally when I first got started with Airbnb. And today I think it's a great way to go if you just got money sitting around. If you don't have a ton of money sitting around and you're trying to buy a house, you're going to probably get yourself into a sticky situation because you're going to have a lot more expenses than you might think. People look at a $200,000 home and think, 20% down, that's $40,000. Well, I bought two $200,000 homes in 2019, and I was expecting it to be right around $60,000 for the initial investment, from the 20% down payment to the furnishing plus repairs, and I was just about right on. It was $60,000 to $65,000 if you're buying conventionally. Now, if you are listening to this podcast, you've probably heard plenty of other ways to be able to buy creatively. I encourage you to go out there and find ways to buy creatively so that you have a little bit of money or not any money in the deal, including ways like subject to or the BRRRR method. Not going to get into all that, but that would be my first recommendation, is try to get away from the conventional buy right now and try to get more into the buying creatively if you're tight on money. If you're not tight on money and you've got money laying around, I just helped a client recently who had, in the 6 figures laying in a bank account. That's a great way to just be able to, no brainer, put your money to work. So just depends on your financial situation there. The second way, so the first way is buy. Second way is one that you already own. Now, what I love about one that you can already own is that you already own it. So you don't have to go out and buy something. Now you just have to think about, how am I going to furnish it? What am I going to do to it? One thing I love is if there's an opportunity to section off part of the house, or to create an opportunity where you can convert the garage into another unit. That way you're not having to, leave your house. You have a way to be able to rent out an entire quote unquote apartment in your house without having to say, hey, honey, let's pack up the bags and leave for the weekend because we've got Airbnb guests coming in. And now you're worried about your stuff. You're worried about, colliding with the guests as they're coming in or you're leaving. There's so many different ways that if you're trying to use your entire house, I've got, one of my friends is doing that, and they're finding that it's very difficult to manage their calendar because, I've got an event here. My kids are going to be here in town this time. And you start to really have to be laser focused on your calendar if you're trying to rent out your entire home that you live in. And that was my experience. When I did it, I had to really hide things because I lived in the house. I had my personal property in there. I had to put things into locked rooms. So my biggest suggestion on, if you already own one, is can you find a way to hire a contractor to be able to put up walls or to be able to convert a garage into a unit so that you can start cash flowing on that property. Now, with that being said, there's also regulations within your town. Some cities have regulations, some don't, where you have to, get permits and get it approved by the city to convert things. Here in my town, it's very easy to do that. It's almost always approved. And so I would encourage you to make sure that you are actually looking into the city regulations before you go out and do that. So that is the second way. The third way, one of my favorites, I should say, because the fifth way will actually blow your mind. Hey, Fearless Flipping community, we are taking a quick break from the podcast to talk about Airbnb. For those of you that don't know, I have built much of my residual income around Airbnb, despite a lot of other investors being really excited about long-term renters. I was not. I saw an opportunity with Airbnb to get to my goals faster, to get more cash flow, and to pay off my houses quicker too. So instead of being really happy like a lot of other investors are with $200 to $300 of cash flow every single month, I've turned my renters and rentals into over $1,000 on average of cash flow every single month. So if you want to learn more about Airbnb, my systems, where I pick my Airbnbs, how I communicate with guests. Maybe you've already got Airbnb as a business on the side right now, but you want to take it to the next level. I am absolutely here to help you. You can book a free consultation with me about Airbnb. Learn more by booking at fearlessflipping.com/consultation, and you get me for 30 minutes for free. That's right, 30 minutes absolutely free. And that's, once again, fearlessflipping.com/consultation, and I'm looking forward to helping you conquer Airbnb investing. The third way is going to be arbitrage. A lot of different fancy terms for it: lease arbitrage, master arbitrage, rental arbitrage, whatever it is. At the end of the day, it's you going straight to a landlord or a property management company and saying, hey, Mr. Property Manager, hey, Miss Landlord, I have a business where I basically take on properties and then sublet them through Airbnb, and you're protected by A, B, C, and D. I'm not going to get into how you do that right now, but I've got 3 rental arbitrage properties that I do that kill it. And what I love about that is you don't actually own the property. So you are basically creating a business relationship with a landlord or property manager in which you both are in agreement that you will be subleasing through Airbnb. I don't like to use the word sublease in my initial presentation with the landlord, but if you do want to learn more about how I present that, once again, we've got a great link here, fearlessflipping.com/Airbnb host, and you can have an opportunity to keep on learning from me and getting great information about Airbnb. So my absolute favorite way in terms of ones that I have control of and I'm going to be profiting from the most on a monthly basis is rental arbitrage. Now, you probably are sitting here asking yourself, Kyle, you just said that you're going from highest profit and moving down to lowest profit, but you just said that rental arbitrage is the best monthly profit. So I don't understand that. And I don't disagree. And I want to make sure I clear myself up here. So when we own a house, we earn income in potentially 4 different ways versus an arbitrage, we're earning income in just one way, cash flow. I don't even consider arbitrage to be real estate investing. I consider arbitrage to be cash flow, passive cash flow if you do it the right way. So in owning a piece of land, a piece of real estate, we're earning income through the debt being paid by the tenants. In this case, it's guests, through the possibility, I want to really strongly say possibility of appreciation, which in a day like today, maybe with a market crash, I just had Lee Carney on the show recently, and he said that he believes there's a market crash coming right away. The appreciation is something that is a bonus. Third is tax advantages. Okay, so every time you own a house, you get to take these tax advantages that I'm not going to get into that because I'm not a CPA, but that definitely is a huge, huge help. And then, of course, it's the cash flow. So let's see, did I do all those right? Now I'm thinking about that. So cash flow, appreciation, debts being paid by the tenant, and tax advantages. Yep, so those are the 4. So with that last one, cash flow, that's the only one that you're getting from rental arbitrage. But with owning a house, you get those 4 different ways of getting paid. Okay, enough about that. So outside of arbitrage, the next one is renting out a room. So this goes back to already owning a house. If you have just a room that you want to rent out, and let's say you don't want to deal with having a long-term roommate that is going to have issues with leaving dishes in the sink and making their room a mess and playing loud music, and their room smells, you can smell from the other side of the house. Those are the disadvantages of roommates. You know what the other disadvantage of a roommate is? They usually don't pay you enough. So let's just take, for example, a recent roommate situation in my life. That was $600 for a room, a really nice room that usually most people would have paid about $750 for. Well, $600 locks down that room. So once again, you have all those issues and having to get along with someone. But then when you talk about on the Airbnb side, well, I can rent out that room for $40 a night plus a cleaning fee. If I get, let's call it 10 different groups staying for 2 nights each, well, that's 20 nights booked. So 20 nights times $40 is $800. I've already made more than what I would with a roommate. Plus, if I had cleaning fees, let's call it $10 for 10 different groups, that's another $100. I just made $900 off of Airbnb one place in my house. And the advantages is that I don't have to worry about a bad long-term tenant there. I get to make a new friend. Honestly, that was one of my favorite parts about having Airbnb in my house was I got to, I have some lifelong friends from Airbnb that literally just stayed there for a couple nights and we've stayed in contact. There's so many different ways that that's an advantage. But again, you probably already have that other room furnished. If you don't, it's super cheap. Just go ahead and buy a bed, buy a dresser, and buy some sheets. And you're pretty much good. Throw up a little bit of decor. So recap here. Buying is the most expensive, but you're going to earn the most. If you already own it, you are going to not have to put down that down payment because you already own the house, maybe a little bit of renovations to make it the right fit, and just furnishing. Then arbitrage, you are creating a relationship with the landlord. All you're having to put forward is the first month's rent, security deposit, and furnishing. Then lastly here, what we just mentioned was the room, just furnishing one room. And the 5th way, drum roll, please. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not going to tell you on this show. You have to go to fearlessflipping.com/Airbnb host. I know you're hating me right now. I know that you're like, wait, what do you mean you can cash flow and not have any money in the deal and be able to create a business right here virtually, essentially? Can you really do that? Yes, you can really do that. And I want to introduce you to how that is being done. Again, go to fearlessflipping.com/Airbnb host. What you're going to do, don't just go there. Make sure you do this next step. So listen, fearlessflipping.com/Airbnb host. You have to download the Airbnb calculator. Once you download that Airbnb calculator, you are going to get that sent to your email. Plus, you're going to get my 5th way that you can get started in Airbnb as a bonus, without having any money in anything. And you can start cash flowing right away. Now, for those of you that have already downloaded the calculator, because so many of you have, you are going to have an advantage, because if you are already downloading that, that means you're already subscribed to our list. And that means that when I put out this next blog this week, you are going to get an awesome, just for you, fifth way of how I am investing in Airbnb and how I'm doing it without any money in a deal. So don't worry, you're not going to miss out if you've already downloaded that calculator. But if you have not, once again, last chance, go to fearlessflipping.com/Airbnb host, and you will get an opportunity to download that calculator and get my fifth way of how to get started in Airbnb. That is going to wrap it up here on the Fearless Flipping podcast. Go out there, conquer Airbnb investing, and keep tuning in.